It's a great honor to be joined by His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta and Her Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia for the official opening of the Nairobi Ministerial Conference, the first WTO Ministerial Conference to be held on our continent, to be held in Africa. Their presence reflects the great importance that Africa places on its role as host of MC10 and its commitment to the multilateral trading system. I would especially like to extend a special welcome to Her Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, but also the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, who is representing President Yoweri Museveni, and the SG's representative here. Your presence at this conference is a great honor to all of us, and we are extremely grateful for it. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this ministerial conference comes against the backdrop of our 52nd Jamhuri Day celebrations and the recently adopted COP21 Paris Agreement on climate change, as well as the adoption of the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in September in New York. These important outcomes show that the international community can deliver significant collective outcomes towards addressing the common interests and achieving common goals. Over the next few days, we will need to work together to ensure that the WTO contributes to these international efforts and delivers a meaningful outcome for the multilateral trading system, for sustainable development, and for our countries, all our countries' economic growth and the prosperity of all our people. Since the start of this year, Your Excellencies, members have worked hard. They've worked hard to get to this point. Constituency groups have met in different regions, either as ministers, ambassadors, or chief negotiators. We have met on the margins of other meetings too, in Davos, in Paris, the 10-year review of the Aid for Trade in Geneva, the WTO Public Forum, the G20 in Istanbul, and of course in the regular bodies of the WTO, the TNC and the General Council. We have made proposals, we have reviewed these proposals, we have countered them, we have explored together landing zones, and we have exchanged views. We have worked a facilitator's process that came to an end in Geneva last week. It's my hope, Your Excellencies, that this ministerial conference sends a strong message on the importance of multilateralism, that the multilateral trading system works, and that the WTO remains relevant to the growth and development of our economies. The existential rationale of the WTO is irrefutable. Its centrality in international trade relations cannot be substituted. If the rules-based multilateral trading system did not exist, we collectively would have to create it. If it fails because of leadership deficits and inability to make rational choices, we would have to recreate it. Your Excellencies, apart from a weak global economy, still dealing with the aftershocks of the global financial and economic crisis, we are faced with the risk of trade and economic fragmentation. Variable regional trading arrangements are useful and can generate welfare effects. They are complements to trade multilateralism. They are not substitutes. And if I may quote my friend and colleague, the USTR Michael Froman, and I quote, "Multilateralism still promises the greatest gains in theory." And I would add to that, in practice as well. The world is not just composed of like-minded countries. We reflect the rich and frustrating diversity of different priorities, different concerns, and different approaches. This may not always approximate our goals, our ideals, our preferences, and ambitions, but these are the cards that we have all been dealt and which we must play. I hope that the spirit of Kenya will have a positive effect on our work over the following days. We would like it said that Africa restored to the WTO its elan, its capacity for trade rules and regulations, and its nimbleness in resolving and solving real-world problems. Your Excellencies, I'd like my colleagues and friends from afar afield to know that nature has blessed our country. It has blessed Kenya with many gifts of forests, of grasslands, and rivers. I therefore hope that despite the full agenda ahead of us, you'll be able to fully experience the warm hospitality of our people, the richness of our culture, and the beauty of our country. I thank you all for your attention.